guys about for your natal chart and really getting to know about your alignment with astrology. So I thought, let me share what I have of myself, and then if you have any questions, I can answer them, and possibly that can help you resolve some of your questions that you had, just about all of it, the DNA, RNA, how astrology is working in my life and all that good stuff. So I did an inquiry to blend the biological concepts with spiritual, numerological, and the Vedic astrology that I was telling you guys about to get some insight and share with you, because each one gives you a different view. So it doesn't all come up the same. So interpreting the DNA and the RNA related to my holistic path, the healing, the spiritual blueprint, basically my core genetic, the RNA as a messenger translating the blueprint into expression and action. And I had given you guys like my life path, which was 9. So we'll go over all that. And then I also have the who, what, when, where, why for my elements. And then if you guys have any additional questions, let me know, note them, or what have you, note them below. So the material versus the spiritual, the self and other, to access my pure essence, the unconditional love and divine communion. And all of this is going to represent my innate unchanging essence, my soul purpose, karmic imprint, and core identity. So in my case, this aligns with my numerology as a life path 9, being having the compassion and humanitarianism, completion of my cycle. And I'm so grateful to have completed that cycle the best to my ability. So it was probably best that I wasn't aware of a lot of things at that time. And like I told you, I was so used to taking care of my elders and being around the older generation that I really didn't have a chance to really, at least I didn't think, to build karma in a negative or positive way. However, the more that I look into it, I can see the karma in the positive way. I hate to use the word sacrifice, but I did not live a lot of my life having youthful experiences, especially working young, at a young age. I told you, working for Fosse and so forth. And I'm going to do the other video for you guys about working in the industry and everything that would tie into what's going on currently. Because as I told you guys before, these people know these people. So I feel like it's a setup when they want us to talk about our experiences with these people, whether it's the president, whether it's with the agency and being on the island or any of those type of things. I feel at this point that they have enough evidence that they don't necessarily need any of us to tell our stories. I feel like it's a setup. I think that's really sad, but I feel that that's the reality of things at this time. And like I told you guys, the reason I say this is because these people know each other. Like this stuff has all been documented ever since I was a child. So it's nothing new under the sun when it comes to the information that you're hearing now. They keep spilling the same stuff. It's like you're ever going to do something or you're not. And then you can understand why some of them are reluctant to do anything, especially with the issue where they're trying to put it as a like a false or fraud or some type of like she's not doing the lady in New York, like she's not supposed to be doing her job. I mean, she's doing her job, and it sounds like they're not accepting her investigation. So I see why a lot of people are just trying to stay safe. They don't want to do anything extra. They don't want to stand out. They're trying to maintain their household. And unfortunately, I have always looked at it that it's not the system, that I believe it's just the people not doing their job. And people are afraid of losing their jobs. And now that people have lost their jobs, there's nothing left. Like this is it. So looking deep within and finding yourself and finding what brings you peace and happy is really essential at this time. And a lot of this stuff I've been doing since elementary. And there was a friend that I had named Sylvia. I think Sylvia's been married, so you're not going to know her as Sylvia Brent. So I'm going to say her full name from elementary school. And we used to dabble in spirituality and different things. And at that time, we also read my palm, and we kind of had a little guide as to how my life would go. And then I told her that she was going to get married out of all of us first, and she did. So little things like that, we had already had our experiences, so forth. So when I looked at my particular situation, I was like, why so late in life? And then I thought, this just can't be it. And I just felt if you have faith and you believe in God and everything, that miracles could happen, and some of that could change. But as I've grown older and I've looked back and I have notes of just my life and journaling everything and my travels, I think astrology plays a major role in our experiences. So some people may not really think much about astrology. But that's why I'm sharing you my story and my experiences with it, along with the spirituality and the Christianity and everything, with the different family members believing in different religions and practices and how they live their life. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to be okay and comfortable with what the decisions that you make in life, period. Like, regardless of what everyone else is doing, you have to be okay with what you're doing. So for me, at the life path 9, the compassion and everything, like I told you guys, and completing that cycle, that really means a lot to me. And going into the new year and so forth, and being prepared and getting rid of the old and what no longer serves me, it's really going in the flow of things. Now, I can honestly say that I miss my aunts and my uncles and the elderly family members that were once here. I miss them, especially how times are currently. It's almost like a full circle, because they knew some of these people too from different experiences. So then I have my Soul Urge 7, which is the inner wisdom, introspection, and seeking, and the spiritual seeking. So, it all identifies me and then we go into my personality expression, which is the 33, or 22, 33, and then my master number vibration of 33 for selfless service and enlightenment. So, I then have my 22 undertones for master building and manifestation. And we can talk about the manifestation. I did a lot of trial and errors with that. And I can't say that anything was better than my own intuition. Nothing can top my own intuition. Even getting my dates of lucky days, special days, great days to play, nothing could outperform that instinctive gut feeling about stuff or dream about something. Nothing could top that type of information. And even though I tried to go with the dates that are supposed to be great days to play, I didn't win anything more than if I had just went with my instinctive intuition about what to play and how to play. Now, with that said, I did finally win on the Daily Derby, and that was using the astrology, the Am I saying verdict astrology? I used that and I finally won with the Daily Derby. It wasn't a large amount, but I did win finally with the Daily Derby. I think it was like $3, $6, free tickets, things like that. And that's the first time ever I had just started winning playing that particular game. So I was impressed with that. And I have to honestly give that to the verdict astrology numbers and information that I gathered for myself of better days to play. But with the other ones, it was the same, similar, free tickets, a few dollars here and there. However, nothing major that I could tell you guys that's life-changing and do this, do that. That was greater than my instinct. Like when I dream the numbers, see the numbers, they appeared. But outside of that, I did not get anything that was greater, as I keep saying, than my instinct. So definitely, you want to eat properly. You want to tap into your self-expression, to knowing yourself very well, and listening to the I don't want to call it divine, but trusting that intuition, listening to yourself of what it is that that you're trying to receive and manifest in life. And like I said, it was just nothing. No one could top that of your own internal light and guidance. No one could top that. So the DNA symbolizes for the source before the light and God, and tapping into the source of what loves me unconditionally. That meant a lot to me during this journey, and my potential to manifest, all my desires in life, and to process the past, present, and future, to process a lot of this stuff. So the divine code within me that transcends the duality, the promising profound joy through self-acceptance and grace, that unconditional love is unbeatable. And tapping into that source is definitely a divine way to go through your journey in life. It just helps and enhance that communication. So the messages and the instructions sometimes can be a little bit difficult for me, just because of the pedestrian accident and the health issue that I had when I was traveling and not getting medical care, and then being wrongfully imprisoned for the 19 days is crazy to me. And then they took me out of state to Florida. I mean, when I tell you about the corruption in America, it's absolutely insane. And then what do? Who do you complain to? Like, literally, I wrote the letters. I even told the judge, like, from the moment that it happened, I'm like, what are they doing? Why? Why would you do that? There's no law being broken. I'm disabled. I'm supposed to be at the hospital. Who removes somebody out of a hospital without any type of warrant or something that calls for that type of behavior? I mean, that's kidnapping. And they allowed it to happen. I mean, America is just absolutely off the chain right now, and it's gotten worse and worse through the years, because that was years ago when that happened. So fast forward to today, no one should be surprised with what's going on. So spirituality is important just to keep your peace. I mean, that's how I was able to keep my peace, even after I had the absence of my mother and my aunt passing too. That was a lot to have to process. I wasn't depressed, though, because my mother had a stroke before she actually passed. So she had the health issues before, her passing. And then the same with my aunt. You kind of know some things. You get your intuition and so forth. And then I spoke to my cousins up here in northern part of California, and they just told me what it was like when my favorite aunt had passed. So when someone is sick, and then when they finally transcend on, you're not surprised because of how the process went, if that makes sense. So after speaking with him about his mother, which is my aunt, it did give me a different perspective, and I was more at peace because of communicating with family about how they made it through their situation when their mother passed. And she was my favorite aunt at that time. So all of it was a lot, because these are people that, this is what you know. This is how you moved around in life, was with these people. So when they're no longer with you, everything changes. Everything literally changes. And it's never going back to what once was. And it's even sad, and a lot of times when you don't even have those houses or the properties and so forth. So it's not like, it's not like something that you could set up an altar or something. Some people like to do that. To me, that wouldn't work for my situation, but some people do that. And that's why I say you have to find what works for you. I will not be the one to tell you yay or nay what you should do and how to process your journey in life. And simply, I just share with you what alignments and misalignments that may cause hardships or may cause success. But you definitely want to soothe out and iron out any type of inner conflict or external challenges. And I know, given with today in society and so forth, that may be a little bit more difficult to do when it comes to the external challenges. But ultimately, you're trying to have that harmony. And that's what leads to that ultimate success and longevity, along with your unconditional love. So you have your routine. Some people call it rituals. I just say it's a routine. It's kind of like when you pray over your food or something, or in the morning when you arise, you give it a few 10 minutes or so, where whether you need to meditate or just have quiet time to get your mind right and set the stage for your day. So biologically, we have our DNA, our double strand, while our RNA is a single strand and involved in the process like a mRNA messenger. Then you have the transfer, the tRNA, and then the RNA. So you have all this to get messages about what's going on with you, and that's what you need to be paying attention to. Not the news, not everybody else or their comments, or the peanut gallery or anything like that as to what they believe is right or wrong for you. You got to go what's best for you, and get those messages that it's sending to build your life, your mastery of your life, of what's bringing you peace and happiness and success peacefully, and be protected in that knowing. So basically, you guys know I was born in California. I've lived on the West Coast majority of my life. I've traveled a lot. I've traveled abroad, and all of this ever since I was little. Sometimes I would even travel alone, and they would have, I guess you call it a escort, or someone that would accompany you during your travels. And sometimes they would pay, sometimes it was free, depending on what airline you were flying with, or if you were on a private plane and so forth, and depending on your age at that time and so forth. So my spirituality probably started a lot earlier than most people, and I still have questions today, even though I started young in my youth, with building this relationship with something that was greater than what I could comprehend and understand. Even as a child, but you just know that there's something there that protects you and takes care of you and loves you unconditionally. But you have to get your path together that's blending all of this in together, and you can be artistic about it and have your expression. A lot of the stuff I like to put up and show you guys, but quite often I'm limited on the memory that I have on the phone. So I'm working on that for you guys. As I get more followers and so forth, like you said, like I told you guys before, with my exercising and stuff. Each time I get another follower, I add another exercise to it, to my arm exercise and everything, to build my strength. So as I'm getting up there, I'm definitely taking consideration and thanking all of you who have subscribed, because I have a lot of new subscribers, and some of you have not signed up, but you still tune in and hear me out and so forth, and I appreciate that. And a lot of you also do the feedback and you make your comments. So thank you very much. I appreciate you guys, even though some of you had removed your TikTok. Some of you still watch my videos, and I have moved some of them over to YouTube and other social media pages. So I'm trying to get all that spirituality and creativity together, get that duality going, to connect with that divine essence, and hope that you can experience through the artistic expression. I'm hoping that it's giving that. But I always enjoy you guys' feedback to let me know if it's there, or if I should add, or what it is that would make it more enjoyable maybe for you, if there's more or less, because sometimes I feel like I'm overdoing it, so I try to keep it simple. But this is just all my life journey towards this experience of unconditional love, my self-acceptance and spiritual mastery of myself. So this involves a lot of, I had to mature, the maturity in that partnership with the source. I hope that really makes sense. And this is just reflecting my inner harmony, my peace, just aligning my daily actions with my soul purpose that keeps me happy. This is my happiness. I enjoy making these videos. And a lot of times, I don't know if it's coming across or not, because I don't get a lot of feedback from a lot of you. But I realize the mysticism of it all, and some people aren't comfortable with that. And then there's parts of it that I'm not comfortable with. So I'm sure it may come through that way. But your feedback really makes a difference to me, to let me know if you're understanding what it is that I am trying to communicate. Because I realize my mystical vision may not quite be how you may see the source. So this is how I'm seeing the source, with the light and God and co-creating together, and just trying to share it artistically. So I hope that makes sense. Like my holistic alignment, am I fostering that divine communion? Is it showing my joy? Is it showing my grace? And maybe I need to just show more of my intentional living, speaking more, talking more to you guys. But I definitely wanted to lay it out and talk about my early years because of a lot of things. One thing that came to mind is when they were talking about the rights of women's rights and so forth. And I've always felt in the way that they should let women have their right to choose whatever it is that they need to do. Because a lot of people don't understand, if you don't have a very good network of people to not only protect you, but to provide for you, take care of you, you see what happens to children, even children that are provided and protected. There's so many ills out in this world that it saddens me more to know that someone could make a child for someone to be a pedophile at and mess with them and manipulate or harm them. That bothers me more than anything else, to be quite honest. I don't feel that people are having these children for somebody to sexually abuse or to harm. That bothers me more than anything else, or for them to be hungry. When they cut the stamps and stuff for people, that to me was kind of like, you guys really are just playing. You're talking heads, but you're not really that concern, because you would never do that. These two women that have children, these babies need food, they need stuff, and to cut it off like that, I just thought that was horrible. I thought that should have really been a time when people should have been in an uproar about their rights, their right as a woman. I thought that should have been a time to really hone in on that and say, look, especially since they had, anyway, I really want to just stay on path and stay on the focus of the spirituality part, because sometimes I get sidetracked and I get to talking about something, and I wanted you guys to check your natal chart and check a lot of your, whether it's Chinese astrology or what have you. Like for me, I have the dog, and I put a lot of this up on, the different social media websites that we have. So leave your questions for me, and that way, if you need assistance with getting the information, let me know. I was letting you guys choose what source that you want to use to get the information. But if you wanted to talk a little bit further about a life, whatever life path that you're on, mine is a 9, and the phases that your transition through it all, and the vibrations of the new beginnings is what I've been sharing with you, getting rid of the old, what no longer serves you, what you're not using, and so forth. And then for me, I had the 7 for my soul urge, which is the reflection. So I think it's the Verdict Dasha periods detail that I had put out, that I showed you guys, that we had talked about. And that was on a different platform. So I have to remember which platforms I have put this stuff up on, because when I go to YouTube and I'm talking, sometimes I put it on unlisted and I don't have it listed. And then I have to make videos on that platform too. So that's why I say you got to let me know, and then I'll do more. If not, then I'll leave it as is. So in my chart, as I told you guys, I have a strong Libra influence. I also have a lot of Taurus. Even my moon, when I was in the womb of my mother, it was all through Taurus. And then 2 hours before birth, it changed. So my natural thought patterns and behavior and everything is under Taurus. It's just, but when I was born, the moon changed. So then it changes to a new moon 2 hours before for the action. And of course, that's going to have an impact on my, on my influences, on balancing things. So the relocation I told you guys about, West Coast has always worked for me. It has always been a good space for me. I've always felt comfortable in that space. But California has changed so much that was something I had to tap into. And even though I knew what my plan of action was spiritually, there was so much more that I had to be alert and aware of that I wasn't expecting. But I'm still happy and I'm still at peace. So that's why I'm just staying in gratitude, because of the unknown, but just still feeling that warmth and that unconditional love from the source means a lot to me. I no longer say I wish things could be better. I no longer say that. I no longer say how much I want to help and do this, that, and the other, because I've already gotten the feedback. So I'm embracing the harmony. I'm embracing what now karma has given me. And it's interesting. I think today's world is so interesting. All of this, along with the spirituality, we're not going back to what once was. So this is really about to be something that I could have never imagined. You know how people say that you're living from inside how you feel, and that's what's reflecting on the outside? I don't think so, y'all. This is something that even I could have never imagined. And so I've evolved, and I'm sharing this experience the best of my ability with phone. So I'm achieving my spiritual mastery in that divine communion, and my soul chooses this. I chose this for my growth through my challenges, using my grace, and this is intentional. So I manifested the joy, and I'm grateful, and I hope that it this is fulfilling my karmic lessons. Like, it's a completion, and it's I keep getting over and over and over that confirmation. So whether I want to try to say it's not, I've already got the confirmation, and I'm hoping that it inspires others and aligns with this universal love. Seeing the source and returning to my oneness and trusting what some people call the process. And I know that is difficult to do. Trusting the process isn't as easy as people try to make it to be. So I just want to touch base with you guys. It's raining like crazy, and I wanted you to see the rain and hear the rain. and we're getting these repairs done to the vehicle. As the money comes in, that's what I set aside, is to keep up with the maintenance, while I'm also looking for a second vehicle, because I have to put this one in the shop for a while when it gets the major work done. So the next topic that I'm going to talk about is my 20 years Dasha period. So this is going to be focusing on love, beauty, and material comfort. And so right now I'm in that transition at my age and everything. And this is the post-Jupiter, around the age of 56 plus, so going forward. And this is going to be amplified in my arts and my relationships, and even some of the hardships, like the vehicle issue, and desire to have the luxury and peacefully and all those good things. So a lot of this is going to be really challenging, just because the world has changed so drastically and people have changed. So we shall talk later. Like I said before, if you guys got any questions, let me see here. We have hi, and then we have nice, and then we have yap. So nobody has any questions, and I trust that you guys are working on yourselves, and you are receiving wins, because when I win, I'm sending out the energy that you're winning too. And I'm trusting that my followers are having the same similar energy. If not, that means I need to keep working on developing my relationship with my followers, because I'm trusting you're here because you want to be here, and that we both are sending each other that good vibe and that good energy to be successful in our decisions in life. And that you're mature enough, first off, to have this type of partnership with me and to have these discussions. And that you are in harmony with me, and that we are creating our happiness and wealth peacefully together, is what I'm trusting. But a lot of times I don't get that kind of feedback as to the spiritual part. So you guys got to let me know. Because I still do the little food reviews, because that is my treat. That's one thing when it came to the scratches and playing any kind of California scratchers for $1, that I was waiting enough to go get my food to do the food reviews. So I felt like that was a confirmation to keep doing food reviews along with everything else that we're doing. So we'll talk further, and love you guys much. Oh, we've been on for almost 35 minutes now. Love you guys much. Today is Saturday, and every Sunday we go live. So if you got any questions, Please note them down. If not, I'm going to continue on with the houses and my experiences with my houses in the natal chart with the various types of astrology. And then we're going to talk about this food stuff, because location still matters. If you want the best tasting food, you got to go to the area and the location that you know that the food is going to be fresh, hot, and delicious. Even if you're just getting your reward fries, you want them to be delicious. All right, guys. Chat with you later.